The movie opens with news broadcasts detailing a large-scale alien invasion by creatures known as mimics, which has been ongoing for 5 years in Europe. By 2020, humanity unites under the United Defense Force to launch a counterattack. They develop advanced combat suits to equip soldiers, even those with minimal training. Despite their efforts, victory remained unattainable until the recent battle in Verdun, commanded by Sergeant Rita Vrataski. The scene then moves to Major William Cage, a public relations officer, as he meets with General Brigham at UDF headquarters. He is ordered to cover the upcoming assault in France, but William protests, citing his lack of combat experience. Despite his objections, Brigham insists that he must join the fight. Desperate, William tries to blackmail the general, threatening to use his PR skills to sway public opinion against Brigham if casualties rise. This action leads to William being arrested and knocked out by Brigham's soldiers. When William regains consciousness, he finds himself handcuffed at a forward operating base at Heathrow, where preparations are underway for the battle against the mimics. There, Master Sergeant Farrell tells him that he has arrived with a group of new recruits. William introduces himself as an officer and asks to make a phone call, but Farrell leads him to the camp, assuring him that everything will be sorted out. Once there, William realizes he has been deceived. Farrell informs him that he has been labeled a deserter and assigned to combat duty as a private for the invasion of France, under Farrell's command. Farrell then takes William into the camp, where he introduces him to J Squad, who are currently gambling. After noticing them, Farrell goes over the rules again and makes them eat their cards. He tells the squad that William needs to be combat ready by tomorrow and expresses William's belief that he does not belong there. Farrell instructs the group to help William confront this misconception and warns them to stop him if he tries to escape. The next morning, the team gears up for battle, putting on their armored metal suits. As Griff, one of the teammates, helps William get suited up, William tries to explain that he has never fought before and fears he might accidentally hurt someone. However, Griff pays little attention to his worries and walks away. Soon, the team boards the aircraft, ready to head into battle. With hundreds of aircraft in the sky, Farrell tries to motivate everyone before they jump into the fray. But just 30 seconds before their drop, their craft is attacked by the mimics, forcing them to jump urgently. William is the last to leave the plane, and when he lands, he struggles to process the chaos around him. He sees his teammates fighting the mimics, but when he tries to use his weapons, he has no idea how to activate them. In that moment, he watches Sergeant Rita Vrataski try to fight a mimic, only to see her die right in front of him. Shocked, he runs towards his remaining team members, but they are ambushed from behind him. As he is trying to figure things out, his weapon unexpectedly fires, allowing him to shoot and kill the attacking mimic. Just then, a larger mimic appears, and his weapon runs out of ammo. He scans the ground and spots a claymore mine next to a fallen teammate. Using the mine, he kills the larger mimic, but the explosion covers him in its blood, causing his face to demold. He suddenly wakes up at Heathrow, realizing he is reliving the previous morning when he first meets Master Sergeant Farrell. This time, he tries to warn Farrell about their failed attempts to defeat the mimics, but Farrell ignores him. On the ground, he attempts to save Sergeant Rita from an attack, but she removes the battery from his suit, leading to his death at the hands of another mimic. Caught in this loop, he tries to prove himself by predicting where Farrell will take him. He even names all the members of J Squad to gain their trust, attempting to share details about their future. However, no one believes him, and he ends up with his mouth taped shut and sent to the battlefield. Each time he finds himself in battle, he meets a different fate. In his fourth attempt on the battlefield, he battles through numerous mimics, mastering his skills and knowledge with each loop. He tries to save Rita, hoping she can lead them, but when she realizes he can predict events, she chooses to let both of them die. She tells him to seek her out the next time he wakes up. In his next loop, he goes to J Squad and saves the members from being caught for gambling. During training, he attempts to escape by hiding under a truck, but this leads to his death and resets the loop. In the following loop, he successfully avoids training and sets out to find Rita. He discovers her in a training compound and approaches her, reminding her that he is from the battlefield where she told him to find her. She takes him aside and instructs him not to discuss their situation with anyone except her. Rita then asks him to explain how he died the first time. As he describes being covered in the blood of a bluish mimic, she interrupts, stating that the mimics know humans are coming to the beach for a battle. Shocked, William asks her to clarify what is happening. And she reveals that what he has experienced has also happened to her. She then asks for his help to win the war after he inquires about a solution for their situation. Rita takes William to meet Dr. Carter, a mimic biology expert who works as a mechanic with delusions in a nearby factory. Rita explains that he is the only one who will truly understand their situation. They start to explain the mimics to William, showing him digital models of them. Dr. Carter explains that the mimics function as a single organism. He introduces the alpha mimic that William killed earlier, whose blood got splattered on his face. The alpha acts like a central nervous system, while another type, known as omega, controls the alphas and has the ability to manipulate time. Carter explains that whenever an alpha is killed, the omega resets the loop and adjusts its strategies based on past events. William then questions about their win at Verdun, leading Rita to clarify that the omega allowed them to win to instill a false sense of confidence, prompting humanity to invest everything in the invasion. They warn him that until he can change the outcome, the mimics will dominate the world. They explain that when William killed the alpha, he gained the power to reset the day, just like Rita did in Verdun, and they urge him to remain in the loop until the omega is defeated. In response, William suggests going to the general to share this information, but Rita refuses, revealing her past attempt that led to her in a psychiatric ward. William then asks how he can help, and they inquire if he has experienced any strange visions, as the omega gives visions to those it senses are a threat. William asks if Rita has had any visions, to which she confirms but notes that the omega was absent when they tried to confront it, which led to her losing her powers. She emphasizes that William must follow any visions he has to help defeat the omega, but he expresses his worries about not having combat experience. In response, Rita begins training him and explains that if he is defeated in battle, he must die, as losing blood and receiving a transfusion could cause him to lose his powers. William spends many loops training and honing his skills for battle. One time, before he wakes up, he has a vision of the omega in a German dam and rushes to tell Dr. Carter about the location. That day, Rita cancels training and tells him to meet her on the battlefield. They spend several loops figuring out how to survive the battle on the beach and move inland based on his vision of the omega. Despite numerous attempts, they cannot escape the beach, so in one loop, they devise a plan to flee the battlefield. In their next loop, they successfully escape and reach a small village. There they find several cars but realize they can only use two. William suggests they split up and take different cars, whichever one starts first will lead the way, and Rita agrees. As they put their plan into action, some mimics chase after them, but William manages to kill them. However, as they continue their journey, the car runs out of gas, forcing them to walk to a nearby abandoned house. In the house, they discover a helicopter filled with fuel that could help them reach the omega. They search for the keys but cannot find them. William notices that Rita has been injured by a mimic attack on their way, so he starts to tend to her wounds. While he is caring for her, he suggests taking the car instead of the helicopter since it is also fully fueled. However, Rita disagrees, stating that they need to reach Germany quickly, and the helicopter would get them there faster. After treating her injuries, William makes her coffee, knowing exactly how much sugar she likes in her coffee. This makes Rita suspect that they have been through this situation before. She pushes him to tell the truth. Eventually he reveals that they have made it this far multiple times, but they cannot get any further from this place. He explains that each time she tries to start the helicopter, mimics attack her, and he cannot save her regardless of his efforts. He insists again that they should use the car, but she refuses. He warns her that if he goes alone to kill the omega, she will be dead forever. Rita replies that she voluntarily signed up for this mission. Frustrated, Rita asks for the keys, and William reluctantly hands them over. Taking the keys, she climbs into the helicopter, telling him to get ready to fight the mimics, believing they can succeed this time. However, as soon as she starts the helicopter, a mimic attacks, and she is killed, just like every other time. Having developed feelings for Rita and witnessing her die repeatedly, William decides to move forward without her. Heartbroken William, in the next loop, he chooses to go to the dam alone to avoid involving Rita. This time, he gears up with extra armor, batteries, and explosives, choosing not to involve Rita in training or share his experiences. He reaches the village by himself, defeats the mimics in the abandoned house and then takes off in the helicopter toward the dam. Upon arriving, he encounters a smaller mimic, believing it to be the omega mimic. However, he soon realizes his mistake and is attacked by an alpha mimic. The alpha mimic focuses on injuring him rather than killing him, aiming to make him bleed and drain his powers. Recognizing that the vision was a trap, he finds himself ambushed by the alpha mimic. As he starts to lose blood, he jumps into the nearby water source, drowning before it can strip him of his abilities. William enters the next loop and decides to approach Rita, then heads to see Dr. Carter. He explains everything that happened at the German dam, and they realize the mimics are targeting his blood to capture his powers. Dr. Carter insists that they have no chance of finding the omega mimic. However, Rita pushes for the prototype Dr. Carter created, which got him fired from his last job. When William asks about the prototype, Dr. Carter explains that it is a transponder designed to attach to an alpha mimic and tap into its wavelength to connect to the omega. He emphasizes that he cannot make the prototype work with the equipment he currently has. To succeed, they need the specialized gear that he has prepared, which is currently located in the UDF headquarters where General Brigham is stationed. Before they depart, Dr. Carter informs them that they need a live alpha mimic for the transponder to function properly. Rita points to William and says that they have him, so they do not actually need a live alpha mimic after all. William and Rita arrive at the UDF headquarters, aware that this isn't their first time trying to get in. Their past experiences make them cautious about their next moves to avoid being caught. After several failed attempts in previous loops, they quickly make their way to General Brigham's office and pressure him to hand over the prototype transponder created by Dr. Carter. Surprisingly, in this loop, General Brigham readily gives them the prototype they need. Feeling relieved that they managed to obtain Dr. Carter's device so easily, they suddenly find themselves surrounded by soldiers. Without hesitation, the duo rushes to their car and Rita showcases her driving skills while instructing William to attach the transponder to his leg. As he secures it, he starts receiving visions of the Omega Mimic, which reveals that it is located beneath the Louvre Pyramid in Paris. William shares this crucial information with Rita. As they escape, they sustain injuries and both end up knocked unconscious, which prevents Rita from killing William when he gets hurt. The insertion of the prototype also causes William to lose blood, stripping him of his powers. After the incident, William loses consciousness, and when he opens his eyes, he finds himself in a hospital receiving a blood transfusion for his injuries. He asks about Rita, but the nurse remains silent and does not answer any of his questions. In his attempt to escape the hospital, he accidentally falls from the bed, having been strapped down. Just then, Rita arrives with the intention of killing William, hoping he can reset the day. William explains that the blood transfusion has stripped him of his alpha mimic powers, preventing him from resetting time. Despite this, she frees him, and together they sneak out of the hospital. As they make their way to Heathrow, they realize they have less than 3 hours to defeat the Omega before the invasion begins. They plan to secure a craft to get to Paris and discuss the possibility of gathering more soldiers. However, Rita doubts that anyone will understand or support their mission. William then heads to the J Squad, trying to persuade one of the members to join them. That member eventually reveals the team's history, giving William hope that it will encourage them to join the fight alongside him. In a last effort to rally the group, William brings Rita in front of them. Known as the Angel of Verdun for her role in defeating the mimics during that battle in Verdun, her presence inspires the team. Once they see her, they agree to join forces with William and Rita to take down the Omega Mimic. The team boards a craft and flies to Paris, aware that they must avoid killing the Alpha Mimic. If they do, the Omega will reset the day and anticipate their attack on the Louvre. One team member raises the concern of what to do if the Alpha attacks, to which William responds that the attacked person must take it on for the sake of the team. However, their plan is compromised as the Omega has already predicted their actions, resulting in their craft being attacked by other mimics. This leads to chaos on board, and the team suffers losses, with some soldiers being killed in the assault. The surviving members are forced to jump from the craft, plunging into the water below and scattering in different directions. After some time, the remaining team members regroup to discuss their next steps. They begin gathering their ammunition and explosives, but many are severely injured from the crash. William decides they must press on in the damaged craft instead of risking death by staying behind. Skinner, one of the team members, clears the way while Rita and William work to revive the engine. As the engine roars to life, mimics close in on their position. Two injured soldiers choose to stay back and fight off the approaching creatures, allowing one member to join William and Rita in the craft. The two remaining members try to fend off the numerous mimics with gunfire, but soon they run out of ammunition. In a desperate move, they set off explosives to take down the mimics, but the blast claims their lives as well. Inside the craft, William and Rita face a fierce attack from multiple mimics, making it challenging to fight off the creatures while piloting the craft. Despite the chaos, they successfully reach beneath the Louvre Pyramid in Paris. As they battle through waves of smaller mimics, they soon confront the waiting Alpha Mimic. Knowing they have little time and slim chances of survival, Rita hands William some explosives to help him take down the Omega Mimic while she plans to distract the Alpha. Before they split up, Rita expresses her gratitude to William for how far they have come together and shares a brief kiss, wishing they had more time to get to know each other. With that, she rushes off to draw the Alpha's attention while William prepares to confront the Omega. Tragically, the Alpha Mimic soon kills Rita and then turns its focus on William, pursuing him into the water. In a desperate moment, as the Alpha grabs him and inflicts serious injuries, William activates the pins on his grenade belt and drops it into the Omega's core. The explosion destroys the Omega and neutralizes the surrounding mimics, causing William to come into contact with the Omega's blood once more. The next moment, William wakes up on his way to the UDF headquarters. Upon arrival, he hears General Brigham announce that mimic activity has stopped after a surge of power in Paris. Feeling a mix of relief and hope, he heads to Heathrow, where he spots his J Squad and Sergeant Farrell training on the ground. He makes his way to the training compound, where he finds Rita practicing. As he approaches her, she asks what he wants, and a smile spreads across William's face as he is overjoyed to see her alive.